Hello again, it's me, Mr. Yatix. I'm back again. I'm in the house, essentially. I'm not wearing a hat today, just to throw things a bit of a curveball there for you. Okay, what I'm going to talk to you about today is a beginner's guide to Wing Chun. Okay, now maybe you've just started doing Wing Chun, you've got some questions. Maybe you're thinking about starting learning Wing Chun Kung Fu, and you just want to know a little bit more about it before you head down to a class. And I'm going to here to sort of really broadly answer as many of those questions as I think you might have in this video. Now, before I start, I should say a couple of things. The first thing is that there is no substitute for actually going and speaking to your local Wing Chun teacher, instructor, Sifu, face to face, because everybody has different teaching methods, and there's a lot of things I'm going to be saying in this video, maybe particular to the way that I teach or the way that I've been taught, and that might not always be the case for your part of the world. The second thing is, of course, Wing Chun can mean a lot of different things. Let's get that out in the open right now. There's a lot of different lineages. It's come down from different pathways, from different teachers originally, and there could be huge differences between what I would call Wing Chun and what somebody else might call Wing Chun, or the emphasis that I put on certain things that other people might not. So just bear those things in mind, and I'll try and be as broad as I can to try and help you out. And obviously, if I miss anything, that's what the comments are for. So just leave me a comment or drop me a direct message on YouTube and ask me any specific questions that you have that you think I might be able to help you with. Okay, I'm here to help. Help me help you. Help me help you. Okay. Right. So first of all, first thing, beginner's guide. A lot of things I often asked quite a lot. Well, what should I expect when I walk in the door? Okay. Now, the first thing you should probably expect is to be confused and to be a little bit out of your comfort zone, I think it's fair to say. Now, Wing Chun is not a martial art that's built on strength, fitness, your physical shape or attributes, or your abilities, okay? And so if you can stand up and you can bend in all the right places that a normal human could, then you should be absolutely fine. So don't feel like it's going to be necessarily a physically taxing evening when you go to your first Wing Chun lesson. It'll be mentally taxing, I can guarantee that. If you're being taught properly, you'll leave with a lot of questions, and it'll really get you thinking very hard about what you're actually doing. But physically, you should be fine. Just wear loose fitting clothing, rock up with an open mind. Any decent class will start off with some sort of light stretching or something to warm you up, so that the risk of any injury is really minimal. I mean, Yi Kim Yun Ma, the basic stance to the first stance that you're going to learn, I would expect, is very unusual, and I think that's the thing about Wing Chun, which is hard for people to get their heads around when they have their first few lessons, is how you're using your body in ways that you probably haven't used it before, unless you were a specific type of athlete, for example, maybe a mountain climber or a really dedicated cyclist. You're going to be using leg muscles, like your adductor muscles and stuff, in a very specific way that is probably going to feel really alien to you, and that may be a little bit sore, but it's the kind of sore you'd get from a reasonably sort of easy gym session. We're not talking about sweat pouring off you. We're not talking about hitting the floor and doing 20 push-ups or any of this other nonsense. A decent class will be focusing on actual functional movements and exercise that you need to perform Wing Chun moves. Okay, so don't bother about bringing in any physical fitness. Just bring in, yourself and an open mind. Okay, so that's the first thing. Second thing I get asked quite a lot is, how long will it take me to get good at Wing Chun? And that's a really difficult thing to answer, because the most obvious thing is that it depends very much upon your own how fast you learn. Okay, some people learn faster than others. Some people are just have more motor control than other people do, and that's perfectly fine. And when I teach people, some people pick things up very, very quickly. Other people take a few more lessons to get up to speed, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. The important thing is that you're learning at a pace that suits you. Because after all, you're training for yourself. You're not training to make me happy or your Sifu happy. You're training to make yourself more useful in general, and in Wing Chun specifically. Okay. So how long will it take you to get good? Define good. I mean, in the first few lessons, you're going to learn tools that you can use in a real life street situation, and if you execute them even 70% of their optimum, they're going to be more useful than not having known them in the first place. So in that regard, Wing Chun, I think, does become useful rather quickly. So I'll give you an idea. I mean, people say, how long did it take you to get to a black belt or black sash, whatever that means, and it's not really something you should use to judge yourself with. I'm quite suspicious of people who what are called belt collectors, who basically go around collecting belts. I did Aikido for 3 years and I got to 5th dan. I did karate for 5 years and I got to 1st dan, and I got them all on my wall. I got a load of certificates. Who gives a shit, right? I mean, it doesn't really matter. If you're going to, you might as well go and do bowling and archery and all those sort of things that you want to just collect trophies. if you want to better yourself and increase your own self-discipline and your own self-worth, my personal opinion is you should dedicate yourself to something for the right reasons, okay? So how long does it take you to get good? As long as you keep training hard, you should be looking to get sort of through the syllabus of the Wing Chun system. I would say that about 5 or 6 years. That's what it took me. It took me 5 years of just one class a week to get to Black Sash, okay, which means not that I'm a master, it means that I've got from one end of the syllabus to the next. It's equivalent of getting your driving license, okay? You get your driving license when you're 17, you can drive a car. It doesn't make you Jensen Button, okay? It doesn't make you a great driver, it just means you can drive. As far as I'm concerned, getting a Black Sash in Wing Chun means you can do Wing Chun. It doesn't mean to say you are great at Wing Chun, okay? It's more of a marker of how long you've been training. So how long does it take you to get your Black Sash? As long as it takes you to get your Black Sash, that's cool. If it's 3 years, good on you, you're obviously concentrated. If it's 10 years, no big deal, just keep training, you know what I mean? I've been training with people for literally 10, 15 years who started when I did, and they haven't got their Black Sash yet, and I've had mine for, over 10 years, whatever it is, and no big deal, it's no problem, they're still enjoying themselves, they're still learning, and they could quite easily have passed that grade numerous times between now and then, but for whatever reason they haven't gone for it. Doesn't make any difference to me, doesn't make any difference to them. So it's all good. And the last thing I'm going to say when you're up for a beginner's guide to Wing Chun, and this is really, really crucial, and I have touched upon this on my previous videos on YouTube as well, is you absolutely must question everything. Question everything, okay? I can't stress that enough. Say why. Why? 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 Because if the guy or the person teaching you can't tell you why, then it's the wrong teacher. You know what I mean? Because everything has a why answer. I could tell you a why answer as I understand it, and then somebody else's understanding of it may be a different why answer, but it's still an answer. If you get the answer because that's how I was taught, that is not an answer. That's bullshit, okay? That's just parroting. That's Xeroxing a Xerox over and over again. And that's how arts degrade and they become of a lower quality, okay? If your Sifu or the person who's teaching you cannot validate exactly why you're doing a particular movement, or a block, or an attack, or a drill, or an application, or a form, or whatever it is, then you really keep drilling into it. If they really can't answer these questions, then you need to find yourself another teacher if you possibly can, okay? So you must question everything. The flip side of that, of course, is within your first 2, 3, 4 weeks of doing Wing Chun, you can question everything because everything is brand new. So there's always going to be a certain element of trust as well. Okay, now this isn't to contradict my last point, but when you get turned up on lesson 1 and somebody shows you Yiji Kim Min Ma and you're sort of like this and you're like, I don't feel like I'm doing Wing Chun right now. This feels a bit weird. You can tell your Sifu, this feels a bit weird. Is this really relevant? And he'll say yes. And here are the basic reasons why. Here's your center line. Here's your triangular structure. You know what I mean? All this good stuff that you're all going to learn about. And that's cool. But you still got to trust the fact that all these slightly, theoretical, academic components that you learn at the very beginning will build into something that is useful in reality, that will save your life, or help you get out of a fight, or win a fight, or not lose a fight, or whatever it's going to be, okay? So the person teaching you, if they can validate what they're saying, and you can trust them, you should be able to trust them, because you're paying them money after all for this. If you can trust them and they give you the answers that you go, yeah, cool, I can live with that. In 3 months' time, I'm going to know why Tan Sao sits here, and not, sorry, there you go, this camera. And I'll know why Tan Sao sits there, I'll know why it isn't somewhere else, okay? So, yes, question everything, but B, have trust. Dance with the one that brought you, as I always say. Don't flit around if you possibly can help it, just because, you're not getting, you're not progressing as fast as you think you should. How do you know how fast you should progress? How do you know how fast you are progressing? You don't. Your teacher does. Trust your teacher. There's a lot of good teachers out there, okay? So that's my beginner's guide to Wing Chun. I hope it was useful. There's loads more stuff I could tell you about it, but I don't want to turn any of my videos into a tutorial of how to do Wing Chun. That's not what I'm about, okay? Because I can't teach you a physical martial art through this rectangular screen full of shit, like a lot of people would try and do, okay? Remember, the internet is much like a hose pipe full of human effluent that blasts into your face without an off switch. So just bear that in mind. And I will see you again very soon with another video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.